Welcome Leo to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 22nd of July for the Ascendant, the Sun or the Moon. Last week came to a close with two big events, the full moon, the second full moon in the sign of Capricorn, which for you is very much about practicalities. But the Sun for the last 4 weeks has been in a very tender area, a very psychological one. If there have been some politics around your professional situation, they may not have completely shook out, to be honest. If you recall, last week we also had the conjunction between Mars and Uranus, which was exact on Monday, but rumbled on through to the middle of the week. And Uranus continues to have an influence this week by being in a right angle to Mercury in your sign. So as much as Mars moved at the end of last week into the friendly 11th house, giving you a great opportunity to network and socialise over the next 6 weeks, and forges an amazing link to the Sun once it moves into your sign later on Monday, as much as there's that desire to collaborate, you'll probably still want to be at the centre of proceedings, and someone could have a little bit of resentment about that. Now, it may be a colleague, it may be a boss, a line manager, a client, a customer. Just be conscious that that politics could be simmering. Because by Tuesday, the Sun moves forwards and goes into a direct opposition with the planet of power, Pluto. And I think the best way to approach things this week, even if you're determined to take a much firmer grip on your life direction, which is absolutely the right thing to do when you have the Sun, Venus and Mercury starting this week in your sign, but just be aware of trying to be collaborative. If you want everything on your own terms, you may find that someone's going to push back. Could be a friend, could be a family member, could be a romantic partner, could be a colleague. But you know, by Thursday, Mercury moves out of your sign and into the sign of Virgo, which it rules. And if you have been manifesting some brilliant new ideas of late, and you're using the energy of the Sun connecting so magnificently to Mars at the start of this week and peaking by Friday, your drive, your passion and your stamina, but critically your vitality, are all going to propel you forwards. But what Mercury moving into Virgo asks you to do is to try to see the value in whatever you're trying to do, and also make sure that there's something tangible in that value. Now by Friday, Chiron, the so-called wounded healer, slams on the proverbial brakes through to the 29th of December. Because the North Node is also in the same sign as Chiron, Aries, for you that's very much about widening your horizons. And if you recall, the solar eclipse in Aries of the spring of this year was really urging you to be more daring. And if Chiron is speaking to a part of you that feels you don't quite have the knowledge, you don't quite have the qualifications, you don't quite have the worldliness to set your plans free, that's the part of your nature you need to work on. Now, as the week draws to a close, we get a repetition of Mercury square to Uranus by sign, as the Sun in your sign squares up to the Moon in Taurus. Now, the good thing about the Moon in Taurus is it is exalted there, so it does like being there, but it suggests your feelings could be quite close to the surface. So if there has been a little bit of turbulence this week, perhaps running on from that Mars-Uranus conjunction, or Mercury's clash with Uranus, or the Sun's opposition with Pluto, it could be more difficult to disguise how you feel. Look at it this way, even if you're being very single-minded, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and you really have got a singular plan that you want to pursue, just be aware that it still needs to in some way bring along with you some key decision makers, whether it is your folks, whether it is the local bank manager, whether it is the people you want to reach with your idea, and their setting and stance may be a little bit more conventional. So if you are doing something that's new and fresh and exciting, and there's every chance you can be manifesting that this week, just be aware that some people may be a little slow on the uptake, and you're going to need a little bit of patience to deal with that. It's been great being with you, but if you would like to have a one-to-one with me, a personal consultation, please check out my testimonials below. I don't edit these. I share them as is. Discover what other people have found working with me. If you would like to become a patron from $3 a month, I upload a lot of extra information. If you are already a Patreon, thank you so much for all your support. And if you would like to ascend beyond this zodiac forecast and embrace the power of more serious astrology, if you give me 3 pieces of personal birth data of time, date and place, or date and place if you don't know your time, I can produce for you your life roadmap report. This will give you searing insights to the patterns that have played out in your life so far, but a much more intimate understanding of how to work with those energies future forwards. In my special package of 30% off, you can also get your 12 months transits. That's the moving planets in the sky interacting with your totally unique blueprint. Also, if you know your tropical astrology, but you'd like to discover your draconic astrology based on your soul, your karmic charts, please see below for that too. The same package, it can be very, very different to your natal chart, but very much an eye-opener. Have a great week. Thank you for joining me, and goodbye.